Good morning, viewers. Today I am present before you with the topic Symbolism. Before I begin the podcast, it is advisable that you keep a notebook and a pen so that you can jot down the important points relating to this particular topic. It is further advisable to use earplugs for listening to the podcast. So here I begin. Symbolism is a literary movement which had its origin in France in the latter half of the 19th century. In fact, Edgar Allan Poe, the renowned critic, poet, and short story writer of America, pioneered symbolism in poetry. His famous poem, The Raven, Ulalume, Lenore, The Haunted Palace, etc., are full of abundant symbols, which he used with great artistic excellence. Famous French symbolists Baudelaire, Mallarmé, Rimbaud, Hart Crane, Ezra Pound, and others have been indebted to him. Poe vastly influenced all modern poetry by the way he used imagery to evoke and suggest rather than to picture and photograph with words what he had to say. His method is subjective rather than objective. A symbolist uses words to describe a mode of literary expression in which words are used to suggest states of mind rather than for their objective, representational, or intellectual content. Symbolist poetry seeks to clothe the idea with a sensory form which, however, would not be its own end. Thus, in this art, all concrete phenomena are mere sensory appearances destined to represent their esoteric affinities with primordial ideas. Symbolists use words for their suggestive value and for the creation of atmosphere. Poe's use of words create atmosphere and tone in his tales and poems. In The Philosophy of Composition, he points out that words have a great symbolic importance. It was only after careful selection that he used the word nevermore as a refrain to his famous poem, The Raven. He selected it for its sonorous sound, symbolic of unending melancholy. Raven, a bird of ill omen, repeats nevermore at the conclusion of each stanza to enhance the effect of melancholy which results from the death of a beautiful woman. In The Philosophy of Composition, Poe explains the process of employing suggestive and symbolic words in The Raven. I quote, I made the bird alight on the bust of Pallas, also for the effect of contrast between the marble and the plumage. It being understood that the bust was absolutely suggested by the word, the bust of Pallas being chosen first as most in keeping with the scholarship of the lover, and secondly for the sonorousness of the word palace itself. Unquote. According to Poe, the chief aim of the poet is to catch a glimpse of the supernatural beauty which can be provided by the employment of symbols. Baudelaire, the famous French poet, was influenced by Poe's doctrine of the pure poetry and symbolism. Like Poe, he thought that the poet had nothing to do with the good or the true, but only with the beautiful. The assertion that the beauty of this world is but a reflection of a beauty above implies a symbolist aesthetic of sorts. He agrees with Poe, who asserts that we can attain a portion of this eternal beauty only by making use of multiform combinations among the things and thoughts for Poe's expression multiform. Baudelaire wrote, since sensuous data can have the expansion of infinite things, it follows that a desire, a regret, a thought, things of the mind can awaken a corresponding symbol in the world of images and vice versa. From the world of the senses, the poet takes the material in which to forge a symbolic vision to himself or of his dream. What he asks of the world of sense is that it gives him the means of expressing his soul. Mallarmé, Paul Valéry, and Théophile Gautier too were influenced by Poe's symbolism. It was in fact under Poe's influence that symbolist poetry developed. In The Symbolist Movement in Literature 1899, Arthur Symons stated that symbolism is present in one guise or the other in every great imaginative writer. The works of many distinguished writers contain symbols and they have made conscious use of them. The poets of the mid 1880s in England associated with the magazine La Décadente called themselves symbolists and attempted to express a primordial idea not in itself but through concrete phenomena which were in fact appearances with esoteric affinities associated with it. The Romantic movement revived interest in the use of symbols. Blake, Wordsworth, Keats, Shelley, Byron, Coleridge abundantly used symbols in their poetry. Even in Victorian poetry, Tennyson, Arnold, and the Pre-Raphaelites were out and out symbolists. In modern poetry, W.B. Yeats, T.S. Eliot, Dylan Thomas, and many others used highly expressive symbols. So, the use of symbols has never been absent from literature. So, this was a small note about symbolism. I hope it proved to be of help to each one of you. Please mention your observation and questions in the comment section below. Please do like, share and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to click on the bell icon for latest update. Thank you for your valuable time. Here's wishing you a great day ahead.